Chael Sonnen fired back at Chase Hooper over his criticism towards Colby Covington last night. After his loss to Joaquin Buckley, Hooper posted this to X. He wrote, "If I were Colby's corner, I'd be screaming at him to stop touching the cut. He's undoing the cut man's work by immediately touching it. Had himself leaking again before the round started." Chael responded saying, "Pipe down. If I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you. I'm kidding, but I'm not. No, really, just playing, but serious." Chase responded, "Damn, you're up early. Would never criticize the GOAT. Probably hard to see anyway since he was doing it right as you guys were leaving the cage. Just was bugging the hell out of me to see, since I try to consciously not touch my face or blow my nose in fights." After knocking out Otman Azaitar last night at UFC Tampa, Michael Johnson says at 38 years old, he plans to start another climb to the top of the lightweight division.
Man, job done, but job not complete. Yeah, I still got a lot of fights to get. I got a lot of wins to get back up to the top, and I'm here. I'm doing it at this age, and I'm having fun back. I'm back having fun. I have a huge support system with me. I can't lose when these people are here. The misconception is people think this is a young man's game. I disagree. Like, this is a chess game. It's kind of an older man game. I got experience, and experience beats everything. Like, these young guys are just tough, but they can't really fight. And I've been here for 15 years. My teammates keep me ready for everything. I got to go in there, help these guys. They got to help me. So I'm in it. I think it's my time to make my final strong run. 8 to 10 years. I'm going to do it, bro. What else do I got to do? Yeah. I think he found the knockout shot for me. Honestly, I started seeing him fade as the fight went on, and I knew he was going to be dangerous in the first. He hit me with a few shots. I was like, oh, maybe that didn't hurt. And then he hit me again. I'm like, okay, maybe that did hurt. So I need to back up and, get my distance. And got into the second round. I started seeing him slowing down, and he stopped moving once we got into these exchanges. And my right hook just landed. I think I'm the fastest guy in the UFC. Not trying to be cocky, but I think I am. So if guys stand in front of me, they got to be careful, and he just wasn't. You really don't think it happened. Like you see the guy fall, and it's like, oh snap! Like, really? Did he go down? And you just gotta stay in that mindset. I gotta get the finish. Like, don't just say, oh, I got him knocked down, because I thought he was gonna roll over and we're gonna start wrestling and fighting, and then the ref took a little long getting there, so I got a little, I don't know, carried away. But I mean, like, that's what I do, man. If I hurt guys, I'm gonna keep going until the ref gets off me. So
Kamaru Usman doesn't understand Jamahal Hill's objective by walking up to Alex Pereira at the UFC PI. Usman doesn't get the purpose of walking up to Alex and then not putting on the gloves when Alex threw them at him.
Alex Pereira was at the UFC PI. Jamahal Hill decided that he was going to pull up on him. I don't know what that purpose was, because this is the thing, Henry, if we got issues, if it's on site, like Jamahal Hill kind of made it look like, you should have let go right there. You face to face, you got to let go. He came up, not on Twitter now, like it's going to go down. But then you ain't swing on him. He said, put the gloves on. You ain't put the gloves on. So what was the purpose of you going up and saying that?
This isn't Twitter. Well, put on the gloves goes back to tweet about it. Dude, I love Jamahal Hill. Anyway, let's take a look at these damn messages,
too,
bro.
But I didn't get
that.
I
know. I told you why I like Jamahal Hill. I like those tattoos, bro. With the 2 thumbs up. I'm a car by myself.
Conor McGregor posted new footage of him grappling.
One minute.
Florian explains why he feels so bad for Alexander Volkov over his split decision loss to Ciryl Gane. Kenny believes it was a robbery, and if Volkov would have got the decision, it would have changed the entire trajectory of his career.
Well, I was going to say, and the worst part about it, why I feel so bad is, he is so much better than we first saw him, dude. Volkov has been working his off to get better as a striker, as a grappler. He put on muscle. This was the best he looked physically. And then he goes out, gives an awesome performance against a tremendous fighter in Cyril Gane, and then doesn't get the nod. That's one of those fights that would have changed the trajectory of his career at this stage of his game, and he didn't get the nod.
Here is some POV footage of Sean Strickland sparring. Belal Muhammad says he would have rather seen Khamzat Chimaev fight Dricus du Plessis at UFC 312. Belal calls Sean Strickland a crybaby and says he doesn't even think he deserves this rematch.
I think they could have. I wish they would have, because I feel like Umar, he deserves it, especially after what he did to Whitaker. And I know they were trying to say that because they promised it to Strickland, and Strickland was going on his crybaby rants, saying that he's gonna sit out no matter what, he deserved it. And it's like, bro, you just beat Costa, and you didn't do much in that fight. So, and I think that people, when you look at Costa's resume, he shouldn't even be in the top 10 right now. A lot of the guys that he's beaten aren't even in the UFC right now. He's not active enough to put him on a win over him, get you a title shot. It's like he just beat Robert Whitaker, who was riding hot, and he dominated him worse than anybody's ever dominated him. I think that Khamzat deserves it, but I think he'll get the next shot. So regardless of what happens, I think he'll get the next shot. I think there's just a worse chance of Strickland getting into Australia than Khamzat, right?
Dana White guarantees that Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall will happen. Dana teases that he has something major planned for next year.
Jones versus Aspinall, is that sort of the big priority, and you think that's the biggest fight the promotion can put on in 2025?
100%. And I think it's probably the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and it's a massive fight in the history of the company too. It's a big fight.
Yeah, we know Tom Aspinall's down. Jones is kind of like on the fence, or at least that's what he said publicly. But
right.
Have you talked?
It's weird.
How confident?
What's weird about that? Let me tell you what's weird about that. So usually, those guys say that behind the scenes and not publicly. Jon says that publicly, but not behind the scenes. Jon is a very unique individual to deal with. From day one, I've been confident that Jon Jones would do that fight, right? I mean, even before the fight, I said if he won, there's no way Jon doesn't do this fight. Jon Jones isn't afraid to fight anybody, and that's a fact. The only time that anything remotely weird has ever happened with Jon Jones was the time that his camp did the weird Chael Sonnen thing. We can't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice. Other than that, and that wasn't him, it was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's like the goofiest move in the history of the UFC. But other than that, Jon Jones behind the scene is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%. Yeah, like I was just saying earlier, like every year over the last 17 years, I've said, how is next year going to be bigger than this year? And some of the stuff that we're already working on is, like I was just telling this gentleman in Brazil, and on multiple levels, not just, UFC. We got power slap meetings going on down there. SLS, which I own a piece of, did an event down there today, and UFC stuff that is being worked on right now in Brazil. We're talking about Spain and all these other places, not to mention Seattle and Chicago and these other places that we haven't been in a long time. So I anticipate a lot of big fights. I got something in the works right now. I'll drive you crazy. All you guys will be running around. I got something in the works that you will never see coming for 2025. That literally started to come together last night, and we got some fun stuff coming up.
Tom Aspinall reacted to Dana White saying the fight with Jon Jones will 100% happen. Tom reposted Dana White's statement to his Instagram story. He also commented the eyes emoji. Joaquin Buckley does not agree with the stoppage last night in his fight with Colby Covington.
I feel like, my fights, shouldn't be stopped, but, it is what it is. You got to protect the fighters. But I feel like 2025, man, is definitely my year, and we definitely taking over. You know, with this being said, you know, this is on a 6-fight winning streak. You know, I got 8 knockouts. You know, within the UFC. I feel like I done enough to really kind of put myself in a position to kind of, yet again, fight for that title. And even though I know that Shavkat is next, blessed to that fight. But if anything happens where Shavkat or Belal doesn't, step up into the octagon, I'm willing to, face them. So at the end of the day, man, we're going to keep this nice and short, bro. I'm definitely looking to take that throne, man, 2025, bro. So we out, baby.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from the Eagle Has Landed. It says, with that performance, Colby's next fight should be in the prelims. The second one's from Mr. Handsome Boy Now. It says, Cubs got to retire after that one. He was in great shape, got the highlight reel KO, smoke show of a wife was in attendance, 30th win of his career, standing ovation from the crowd. And the final one's from Zexter33. It says, Buckley going from a mean journeyman to a serious contender needs to be talked about more. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.